Yeah. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Fightnwords and the Fightnwords News Network. Fightnwords is brought to you each and every night of the week in grateful appreciation to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, men and women, police and fire services, the doctors and nurses and first responders out there, and especially the wonderful people in the markets that keep our food stocked during these times, these hard times. Tonight's program is dedicated again to the life of a tremendous physician. Dr. Craig Harkop passed away last Thursday night. Craig was a pulmonologist, and he's double boarded in internal medicine as well as pulmonology. He was the chief of internal medicine. The intensive care at Sarasota Memorial Hospital, and chief of pulmonary at the same hospital. To his wife Debbie, to Blake, to Preston, to Jesse, and to Jane. Jane, we wish you. We're very sorry for your loss, and we wish you happier days to come ahead. Tonight's show is going to be a little different. Some of the guys haven't had a chance to call in yet, but they are on the way. Tonight we're going to have a special guest, and that'll be Jor Tiberi. Okay, we're on. That'll be Jor Tiberi. Joe's a middleweight fighter, 17-3-0, and he'll be going on with a little bit, and we'll get into that. Caden, you had some pretty decent fights last night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There was.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think of them? Where do you want to start?
No, I thought they were good. You know, it was surprising, except it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it was obviously the best fight of the night was Miroslav Evelev versus Lerone Murphy.
Right.
And that's what's going to set up. You know, Miroslav Evelev's going to get the title shot against Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was a stellar performance from Miroslav Evelev. He fought exactly the way he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when Lerone Murphy had time on the feet and time to try and get in rhythm,
mm-hmm.
It seemed like Evelev was always just a step ahead, man. He always had the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so, I mean, even you look at the takedowns, man, he had 9 takedowns out of 10 attempts. He was just able to do whatever he wanted
mm-hmm.
throughout the entire fight. And that's what really dictated it. And Lerone just couldn't get his aspect or his best. He couldn't play to his strengths. And Evelev tried to put the feet away from him. And it was just 5 rounds of straight domination. And this raises a question for Volkanovski, you know? Because you got this guy who has a very similar setup to Islam Makhachev, which was, you know, not a very good fight for Volkanovski. The first one was, second one not so much. And we're dealing with a guy who's more dangerous on the feet than Islam, less dangerous on the ground. And, you know, Volk got knocked out by Islam because he was so wary of being taken down.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. I just think that Evelev is such a favorable matchup or Volkanovski is such a favorable matchup for Evelev.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, you know, I always say I'll never bet against Volkanovski.
Right.
And I never will. I learned my lesson. I'll never put money on the line against Volkanovski. But, you know, I will put my prediction on the line. I think that Evelev beats Volkanovski when that fight happens.
Wow. That's very telling, especially coming from you. Well, let me ask you, what do you think that Volkanovski's got Acosta coming up very shortly? What's your thoughts on that one?
Oh, I think Volkanovski's got that 100%.
Okay. Why is that?
The only person in that division that could beat Volkanovski would be
mm-hmm.
Evelev or Diego Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I don't think Diego Lopez is at that level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Evelev, man, that fight against Lauren Murphy, he fought at that level. That was a championship level performance from Rose Van Evelev.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, the other one last night that caught my eye was Danny Silva and Burt Campbell. Only took him 31 seconds to get out of there.
That one I didn't see. I didn't see that. I did see my guy Michael Venom Page fought last night.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know. I didn't even know that he was fighting last night. From the scorecard, what I'm looking like, it didn't look like a very active fight.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw from last night was Evelev versus Lauren Murphy.
Okay. Well, Michael Bennett Page, since you brought that up, had one hell of a fight last night, defeating Sam Patterson. The cards, if you look at the cards, he won it straight through. He's a. What's your thoughts on that one?
I didn't see that one, but I think it's a good win for MVP. I don't know if he's going to make any sort of run late in his career or anything like that. I doubt he will.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll always be a guy that people will want to see and pay money to see.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how flashy he is.
Okay. Hey, well, let me ask you, just moving over, because Tony's running late and so is Z. What's your thoughts on Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua?
That's a speculated fight. One of the most speculated fights of recent memory. You know what I mean? This is one of those things I feel that they've been trying to get on for years. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of sucks that it's happening now when they're both past their heyday. You know, Tyson Fury, who even knows if he's even a boxer anymore? You know what I mean? It seems like he's just going around collecting paychecks now. And you know, same can be said with Anthony Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, I think Z and Ty would probably be a better speaking point than me on this. But in terms of two guys that haven't seen a lot of action as of recently, I always tend to go with the healthier guy and the more active guy and the younger guy, and that's Anthony Joshua. It seems to me like the last couple of times Tyson Fury has showed up to a fight, it's almost been like a gimmick to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He's already won enough. What does he have to prove now? You know what I mean? And I get where he's coming from. You know, and you see that at every single sport. You'll have guys that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that if that fight were to happen, it would be all based on preparation and readiness. And I do think that Anthony Joshua would just be more prepared and more ready for a fight in this stage in both of their careers. So I'll have to go with Anthony Joshua on that one.
We know there's been reports in the last week or so that Tyson Fury and his father have had a major split. Given the fact that he hasn't fought in almost 18 months, and his father has always been his trainer and in his corner, do you think that will have any bearing on the fight?
Definitely. You know, as they say with every sport, it's 50-50. You're 50% performance, 50% mental, and one relies on the other. If you're not performing well, your mental won't be as good. You know, and if your mental isn't as good, you won't be performing as well. And you know, something like that. You saw that with Mike Tyson when he lost his trainer. What happened in that Evander Holyfield fight? What happened to, you know, the rest of his career? And I do think something like that could be a massive factor, especially because when I see Tyson Fury, I feel like I see a less motivated fighter. Where as of before, when when I saw him fight, I don't see much of boxing, so it's kind of hard for me to speak here. But one of the only Tyson Fury fights I've ever seen, and it was the first Tyson Fury fight I ever saw, was him against Deontay Wilder, the third fight.
Mm-hmm.
And you look in, I don't know which round. I think it was like around the fifth round when Deontay Wilder gets that knockdown. Tyson Fury didn't open his eyes until like the 5 count.
Mm-hmm.
He was that's for the rest of that fight. It was pure will, determination, and motivation. It's pure mental,
Mm-hmm.
And that was a pretty cool moment. You see Deontay Wilder talking about that after. He's like, I felt Tyson Fury die when I punched him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he got back up and won the fight.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you have a fighter like that runs off of mental motivation, just being mentally prepared and ready and just ready for anything, and you take him and you put him in a situation like that and strip away some of his hardiness,
Mm-hmm.
and some of his mental stability,
Mm-hmm.
and normality without the same coach, without your father in your corner, that could definitely pose some big issues for anybody.
Well, you brought up a good point there. When Wilder hit him with a hook and sent him to the floor, I thought the guy died. I mean, there was no movement whatsoever, and then all of a sudden, at the seventh count, he was up and took the rest of the ring, the rest of the fight.
That still is like one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yep.
Still, I don't know how he got up and won that fight, and I'll always remember Tyson Fury just for that one moment. I'm just like, this guy is an absolute menace. I don't know how he's doing. He's getting up and he's going punch for punch like that. Never happened.
Yeah.
And that's all from just mentally being a beast.
Mm-hmm.
That it just didn't faze him. It didn't faze him.
Yeah. What'd you think about? And we've got another one coming up. Your boy Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how. Well, I do. I was going to say I don't know how that fight got made, but Sean Strickland's been winning, so I'll give him that. But man, this is a worst. This is an awful predicament for Sean Strickland. Man, he's got to go up there and fight Khamzat, and he's going to get ragdolled for 5 rounds if Khamzat fights the way he should. Talk about a guy who runs off his mental. Khamzat Chimaev is insane. He'll fight a certain way just because he feels like people are talking about or criticizing a certain area of his fighting. Like when he fought Gilbert Burns, and it was his first fight in the top 5 and or in the top 10, and people were saying that he couldn't strike well and he couldn't box well. So instead of using his world-class grappling and sambo, he instead decided to strike with Gilbert for 5 rounds and almost get knocked out just because he wanted to, And he does something like that against Sean Strickland, then it won't be good. You know what I mean? Like Sean Strickland is much better on the feet than Gilbert Burns. He's a very refined fighter when it comes to striking.
Okay.
But man, is his base unstable? And his footwork is some of the worst footwork I've seen in a high level. I don't know how he has that footwork. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's almost like DDP, where it's like he's so good because he's unpredictable. You know what I mean? And because he's so unorthodox. But that doesn't matter when your feet are taken up under you and you're on the ground for 5 rounds straight, which is completely possible for Khamzat. He can do it to DDP and he can do it to Sean Strickland easy. And if that fight were to happen, I think that's what will happen. And it should be, I hate to say it, but a very manageable win for Khamzat Chimaev.
Okay, good. We're going to go ahead and bring Joey in a little early. So we're going to give him a call right now while we're on here. Come on, Joe.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
I guess Joe didn't pick up, so we'll have to call him back. But let's see what we got here. All right, Terrence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez seem to have some kind of a commitment now, even though they have this feud, whether Crawford actually retired or not. If that were to happen, Caden, what's your thoughts?
Well, first I want to say about Terrence Crawford and his retirement. You know what they say about all great fighters, sports fighters in general.
Mm-hmm.
That first retirement doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I say first retirement because it's always a first retirement. There's
Mm-hmm.
always more. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen a great fighter retire once,
Mm-hmm.
ever. You know, you see it with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury retired in like 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about him fighting Anthony Joshua to this day. So I'm not surprised by Terrence Crawford and this Teofimo Lopez business.
Hold on,
It's
just
only the first time we've seen.
Caden, just hold on for just a second. Tony's coming in. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing good. It's okay. There we go. Go ahead, Caden.
I think it'll be Crawford all day. You know, I don't know much about Teofimo Lopez, but I do know Bud Crawford, man, and he's a beast. He's a beast. But he and Ty and Tony will be able to talk much more on Teofimo Lopez and why he would probably win this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to stay off what I've seen. You know, his performance against Canelo, and I forget the first fight I watched against him. But just from what I've seen, I got to go with what I know, and that's Terrence Crawford. So I have to go with Terrence Crawford.
Okay, Tony, we're talking about Tony's joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Hendrick from the beautiful downtown Northport. We have to announce today that we've been paying Tony too much money because he went out and bought a new car today. So Tony, it'll be a $10 a week deduction from your $22 that you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to really hurt. But, you know, life throws you curveballs and life throws screwballs. And today I got a screwball by Nolan Ryan right up the colon. So, it didn't feel pleasant.
I'm sure. And we're talking about Terrence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez and their feud. And if they did get in the ring, what's your thoughts?
Teofimo get his butt kicked. I haven't heard that one yet, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me. But even Bud Crawford not even training or giving up and saying he's retiring can pretty much come back and beat Teofimo, man. If he did the beating like he did this last time, there's no way he's going to touch Crawford.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about Ryan Garcia comfortably beat Keyshawn Davis? What was your thoughts?
Honestly, I missed it, but and that was last night?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I got so sidetracked this weekend, I missed it. He beat him badly?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. I between him beating Keyshawn then and the other fight, the last fight he had before that, boy's on fire. Devin Haney better really watch out.
Wow.
He's going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought there was something happened to your brain there when you were talking about Haney. I thought maybe you changed your mind. I know your mindset on that one.
What, Haney beating Garcia?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to
No.
say.
No.
Hey, Caden, what do you think about Sean Brady and Joaquin Buckley?
Hey, I think that's a great fight. You know, better than Sean Brady's last fight. And I do think that Sean Brady, he gets the short end of the stick so many times in the UFC. And he came out on top against Leon Edwards when they threw him in there on 2 weeks' notice. So he had to fight. He had to fight Romanov, which was such an unfavorable fight. I just threw him into the fire. And Joaquin Buckley is a little bit more favorable, but still more dangerous in terms of instead of getting controlled for 5 rounds of the ground, might get just knocked out cold. I don't know what is better or worse. I guess that's up to him. Man, I have to say, I do think he has a better shot at winning this fight than that Rachmanov fight. And the reason why I'm talking like this, I do like Sean Brady. I don't think he's the best fighter because he's not very good at one thing. He's kind of good at a lot of things, and it's not like Volk where Volkanovski's good at like almost everything, but he's like best at everything. Where Sean Brady's just all right at about everything. So I don't think it'll be too much of a favorable fight for him if he stays on the feet. If he can really get bench work and work some dirty boxing and get Joaquin Buckley on the ground and tire him out, I definitely think it's Sean Brady's fight. But looking at it from an outside perspective and what most likely will happen, Joaquin Buckley's under them. Just a little bit more experience at the top level than him, with him having a championship fight already. I think he has a little bit more of a fire, a little bit more of a fire under his butt than Sean Brady does. So I'm going to give this fight to Joaquin Buckley. Okay.
Hey, Tony, there seems to be a thought out there that Eddie Hearn keeps blocking Boots Ennis from Vergil Ortiz. What's going on with that?
I think it's a money thing somewhere that Eddie Hearn is evidently not making it. He's not padding his pockets enough or some sort of a money issue. I don't think it's anything personal. I think he's just probably not getting the cut he wants and he's waiting for the right time.
Okay. That does make sense because, he's still got – well, let me ask you this. If Boots Ennis doesn't take on Ortiz, who will?
That's a very good question. Ortiz is managed by De La Hoya still, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a lawsuit going on where, unless it's been settled, but where Ortiz is not going to be able to fight till it's over. It might possibly have something to do with it too, but the last I heard, it was probably about 2 weeks ago, I think Oscar De La Hoya was making an announcement telling Ortiz he needed to. Actually, you know what it was? It was Ortiz changed from Oscar De La Hoya to another manager, and something happened. There's some lawsuits that was pending, and he can't fight. So I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that. I don't know how that goes. If there's any truth to that.
Okay.
But Eddie Hearn is out for himself, so likely some money issue.
Yeah. In fact, he's starting a lot of crap. Kagan, maybe you can answer this one. He's starting a lot of crap with the UFC fighters now that he's signed Aspinall as over the pay thing. You think that'll go anywhere?
In terms of any sort of, I don't know what he's trying to make a stand against. So I can't say on that end. But from what I've seen, it seems like he's trying to manage more UFC fighters. So in terms of him doing more bidding with the UFC, I would think it would make sense for him to go out and manage Paddy Pimblett, Ian Gates, other maybe Leon Edwards, other fighters from the UK. I doubt he'd go anywhere else other than managed fighters in the UFC from the UK. And if he does, I don't know. It seems like he's only interested in terms of UFC. It seems like he's only interested in managing Tom Aspinall. Obviously, there's more to come from almost anything. Almost it seems so. I guess we'll see. But in terms of more bidding with the UFC, logically, I can only think that he goes and signs Paddy Pimblett, Ian Gary, Leon Edwards, etc. Other fighters from the UK.
We lost you there, Caden.
Oh, my fault. I pressed you. I was.
Okay. Let me try and get Joe one more time, and we'll see if we can't get him on here. All right, we'll try one more time.
Your call has been forwarded to.
Oh, no. Shit. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I see how much you love me.
Now I gotta get back over and get Caden. Yep, don't have to. Here we go. Come on. Sorry about that, Caden. Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of Joe, and Joey Tiberi was supposed to be on with us tonight. And he's probably trying to put the kids to bed. But I wanted to talk about the Tiberi family. What a great family in Delaware. Back in the 50s, the 60s and 70s, it started out with Mario boxing at St. Anthony's. Used to have a men's boxing night on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And Father Robert probably made close to $1 million off the boxing matches that he put in there, because they were all either their local fighters that were good, or he brought in some nationally named fighters with the help of Nick Tiberi. Nick is a promoter, part of the family. Joe Sr. Had fought as a super welterweight with the 18-5-2. Joe Jr. Was at middleweight, and his was 17-3-0. And then his uncle Dave fought James Toney for the middleweight championship, and that was a shot that was heard around the world. Dave was 22-3-3. There was a lot of questions about the scoring on that fight, so much so that Senator Bill Roth from Delaware got involved, and they put a bill together, which unfortunately died in committee. It never got out on the floor, but it's going to be the Tiberi law, where the judges, instead of just being the three judges getting a say into who won or not, it would be sanctioned by whatever state, and they'd have the referee plus a state official would make the announcements of who won. And it all came down to the fact that they said that one of the judges gave too high on the score on Toney, because he was very friendly with Toney. So I was trying to get Joey on to talk about his fights. He had 17 excellent fights. He's just a young guy. and but we'll try again for next week on that one. All right, Tony, Kavanaugh and Morano. What'd you think about that one?
That's
Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't recall that.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Caden, want to go with that one?
Yeah, that was Kavanaugh won that fight. I believe we talked about this a little bit last week. But yeah, I don't know what's next for Brandon Moreno.
Mm-hmm.
I thought honestly that he was tired after that fight, but he gets not. So yeah, I don't know what's next for him, but Kavanaugh looks like a good young prospect.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, Tony, this one definitely comes for you for Jaime Mongoya and Armando Riveras.
Ooh, the knuckle dragger's back in the business, huh?
Yes, he is.
I haven't seen or heard that name in so long now that I think anybody could beat him. So he, to me, was an impressive fighter when I first saw him. But it just seems like he declined like quickly. I mean, at first he was like, "Oh my goodness, look at the size of this guy! Look how he boxes." But as soon as he started having some trouble with other people, it just seemed like he just wasn't interested. He just seems like he's not into it. But honestly, he'll probably get beat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Caden, Aljamain Sterling got a wake-up call from Zala this weekend. What happened?
That one didn't happen yet. I don't know when that's going to happen. I heard that they were thinking about signing that one. But if they were, I would go with my guy, Aljamain Sterling.
Okay. All right. Tony, David Benavidez and Ramirez.
It's going to be a banger. It's going to be a good fight, but I don't see Benavidez losing anything right now. I think he's going to have the fight of his life, though. I think it's going to be the hardest one for him that he's had. But I believe he'll pull it off. I think he's still he's training hard. I mean, I've been keeping up with him the last couple of weeks, and he's actually been training, and Ryan Garcia was with him training. And, obviously I'm going to have to sit back and watch what happened last night because I missed it. But all the training I've watched on both those two guys, hitting and sweeping everything else, Benavidez won't lose the fight. And now I see why Garcia won the fight.
Okay.
I'm shocked that it was that easy against Keyshawn if that's what happened. So I'm really looking forward to looking at that.
Yeah, it was a I guess it was a letdown for a lot of people because he started.
I'm sure a lot of people had their money on Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Thinking that Ryan got lucky this last time, but if he's done this twice now, especially with Keyshawn, and I'm not joking because I don't like Devin Haney and everybody knows this, but Devin Haney, seriously, if he's not scared right now, he's gonna be. I don't think he wants this fight with Garcia right now, not the way he's fighting.
Okay. Tony, I'm sorry, Caden, Jack Della Madonna and Paredes. What's your thoughts?
I think it's a great fight for Prates. Stadium is a great prospect. It'll be Prates' hardest fight, and I think he can win. I think he can win based on power alone. But if he gets into those technical exchanges with JDM and stays in the pocket for too long and doesn't use his length and doesn't read a lot and just tries to sit there and outbox JDM, it will not be good. It'll be 5 rounds of just keeping Carlos Prates in front of him, smacking his face. That's what he does best. What he does, he'll get his hands on you. He's not the most powerful guy. He would just, in video games, we call it stun lock. You know what I mean? He can sit there and stun lock you for 5 rounds straight. And that's what he does best. That's how he got to UFC. He's the guy I've ever seen get a UFC title before he attempts a single takedown in the UFC, and that's real. He got UFC gold before he even attempted a takedown.
Mm-hmm.
He has more UFC titles than he has successful takedowns in the UFC, which is pretty crazy. And that goes to show, and it goes to complement his ability to box. We've seen him just not do well against lengthy opponents, and not do well in situations. And I just don't think that Process is strong enough to control him in the clinch. I don't think he has the technical ability, or it's not even his style to go out there and take Katie into the ground and submit him. So I would think for Process to win, he'd have to play it at a distance and play it from the outside. Because if not, man, JDM's going to put him in a blender, and it'll be him all night. But this is one I do think can go either way. But I am leaning towards JD.
Okay. Tony and Moses Hitomo and Jeremy Franklin.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a banger as well. Going to go with a Tom on this one. I think he's going to be I think he's actually the favorite, but I mean, out of the two, I'd have to go with a Tom. But Franklin's going to he's going to push his buttons, and it's going to be a good one. But a Tom will come through it.
Okay. Caden, what do you think of Pereira's move to the light heavyweight? Moving up to heavyweight.
Yeah, he's moving out of light heavyweight into heavyweight. And if you've been listening to the show for the past, I don't know how long I've been saying it, year, probably, ever since you moved up to light heavyweight, I've been saying that this dude, it's inevitable for him to move up to heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
It's inevitable. You know, it will happen no matter what, whether it's the UFC pushing him to heavyweight because there's no names. There's no names in the heavyweight division in the UFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got Tom Aspinall, and Tom Aspinall is a name in the making. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the best mic presence. He's a damn good fighter. And when you're a damn good fighter, but you don't have the best mic presence, you need to work and work and work until, you know, and just put on great performance after great performance until you become a name. You know, it's almost easier. It's not even almost. It is 100% easier to become a name and someone highly valued by Dana White. If you're good on the mic, you're not even good in the octagon. You got a guy like, my favorite example of this is Alexandre Pantoja. Alexandre Pantoja is used to be the feather or the flyweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
He's number 2 for most title defenses in UFC history, and he has one of the longest title reigns in UFC history. Yet I'm willing to bet almost none of you know his name, and he just lost his title in this whole time. He doesn't even know. You know what I mean? Like he barely even talks on the press conferences, this and that, you know. And I think that's just what was needed in the heavyweight division. Look at what are the divisions that people want to watch the most. They want to watch lightweight, they want to watch middleweight, and they watch heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got fast guys and knockouts, and just pure knockouts at the heavyweight. Those are the 3 most watched divisions in the UFC. And when you have the lightweight being loaded to 24/7, there's never a drought of talent in the lightweight division.
Mm-hmm.
Middleweight sometimes, but right now, last 20 years, it's been stellar in the UFC. The heavyweight division is just one of those divisions where, as of right now, all these great fighters that used to be in that division, Cain Velasquez, James Cormier, John Jones, Randy Couture, all of these great fighters Speak of Jokic, you can go on and on and on about UFC legends in the heavyweight division, and all of them retired within the last 10 to 12 years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And as of now, like, you look at the future of the heavyweight division, and what is it?
Caden, can you hold on just a second? Hold on just a second. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Frank. Sorry, my parents just stopped by.
No problem. No problem. We'll just bring you in right now. Hey, guys, we're joined by go ahead and finish up, Caden, and then we'll go to Joey.
Yeah, what I was saying is, you know, the UFC heavyweight division needed a name, you know, and with the absence of all these legends, where the heavyweight division, you're looking for legends, looking for to watch the greatest, you go there, you know, and now who do they got? John Jones is gone. They got Tom Aspinall, and that's it, you know. You know, it would be, they lost Francis, they lost all these guys. It was just inevitable, not only because Pereira's naturally a big guy, getting older. I think that had to play a big part in it. But as I've been saying for the past year and a half, Taylor's going to need him at that heavyweight division. There's no other names, no other draw for the heavyweight division. Now that John Jones, you know, people want to see the grip way more than they want to see Tom Aspinall, regardless of who's the champion.
All right. Hey, we're going to go to we have a good friend of ours comes from if you went to Delaware and you just said one word, people would know you knew Delaware history, and that's the Tiberi family. Whether it's Nick, who was the promoter, Mario, who was one hell of a fighter, Dave, who was almost a middleweight champion with fighting James Cooney. Then you go to Joe Sr., 18-5-2 as a super welterweight. And then we had Joe Jr., 17-3-0, one of the fastest left hooks I've ever seen. Great guy. Joe, by the way, I'm supposed to tell you that Bernard Fernandez said to say hello.
Okay.
He followed you. He followed you, and he was a Daily News writer for 35 years, and he has followed your whole family. And I think he's got a couple excerpts about your dad and Dave, both in his last book that he just put out. But
Oh, really?
so, Joe, tell us about your fight, your last couple fights.
To be honest with you, I don't even remember them. I don't even know. Yeah, honestly, I can't tell you. I mean, I know when COVID hit, that kind of was a peak. That was like a real point of where things died down. Boston had a big hit. You know, they weren't doing shows. They weren't having crowds. So like, that kind of really killed Boston for a while. And I was pushing, I think, 37, 38. And, yeah, I never recovered. I don't think I didn't fight after COVID. So I've been out for a while. Then I'm permanently out. I got kids now. You know, me married and the whole shebang. So I I still train guys. I started training kids and all that. So I mean, outside of that, man, I've been out of the game. And yeah, COVID kind of that was the last anything I had with it. But I mean, yeah, I couldn't say about my last fight. I mean, I miss it, but I see the repercussions of it, and I don't miss getting hit.
Right. You say you're training young guys. There's one of the guys that's on with us, Terry Parquette, has a gym over in Canby Park there that trains young kids and young boxers. How about you? Where's yours?
Well, I was doing it out of my basement, and then I've recently been going to Knockout Boxing. I've been over there, been in touch with them, and have been using their facility recently. So yeah, I mean, I kind of jump back and forth. I try to get people out of my house. And,
right.
You know, I got too many people coming now to where it's like I don't have enough room. So I've been going to Knockout Boxing recently.
Do you have any prospects you want to let us know about?
What's that?
Do you have any prospects coming up through your Golden Gloves or?
Yeah, because I don't have the time to truly train somebody and give them everything they would need to get to that level. I just do it. You know, some of the guys talk about competing, but that's as far as it goes. I just don't have the time to give to them, to anybody, realistically. I like doing it. I got my son involved. I got some of his friends, and they're 7. So, like, you know what I mean? I just like doing that type of stuff and just being involved still and being able to give back. And, you know, I just, like I said, I just don't have the time to get involved with training somebody. I can't even get off work to see my kids sometimes at night, so there's no way I could commit to giving somebody, you know, who needs that time. I mean, if you're going to box, I mean, people die in that ring. So people really, you know, there's a seriousness to it, and you got to really be committed to do that. And I can't give that. I just don't have it.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a technical question. Tony and I were just talking about Terrence Crawford, and I'm sorry, Caden and I were just talking about Terrence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez and the feud they have going on. If that was to get together, who's your thoughts would win that?
You know, Crawford, he's a beast. You're not beating him. Not beating him. He switches up. He's good on both sides. I mean, he's the best for a reason. So, I mean, you know, they're going to sell it. They're going to try to sell it. It's a business. It's a business first. So, but, I mean, he retired. Bud's retired anyway. I don't see him coming back. I mean, he wants to. I think he's seeing, you know, maybe the effect. I mean, I don't know how many fights he's had. 40-some fights. I mean, I'm sure that's probably catching up to him now.
Sure.
You know, he's getting older. He's got a bunch of kids. And, you know, now you start valuing life differently when you getting older. So, I mean, I think he's made his money. You know, if he wants to, needs to make some more, he can fight anybody. What he needs.
Okay, no problem. Hey, Tony, what do you think about Kevin Walsh and Michael Conlon?
I don't know a lot about Walsh, but Conlon, what little I know, those two guys I really haven't kept up with much, but Conlon seems to be a pretty good fighter. I think from what I know of the other guy, very little, Conlon shouldn't have a problem.
Okay. What do you think, Joe?
Are you talking about UFC?
Yeah.
I don't follow UFC at all.
No. This is boxing.
Who'd you say was?
Kevin Walsh and Michael Conlon.
To be honest with you, I don't really follow either one of them.
Okay. All right. Caden, what do you think about your boy Adesanya's going against Pfeiffer next Saturday night?
Yeah, I think it's a must win for Adesanya. If he wants to keep his career afloat and stay back on the track and try and get to where he was before, trying to get UFC gold, he needs this win more than any win in his career. He's coming off some nasty knockouts. He's coming off of a nasty head kick knockout from Nasruddin Imavov. And he takes so many hits like that, especially from high-level guys who, Nasruddin Imavov is one of the best kickboxers the UFC has seen recently. He's had some brutal knockouts from Alex Pereira 3 times now throughout his whole career. So I think that kind of stuff adds up, and you even saw it in that Nasruddin Imavov fight. He looks like he was more skittish when we saw original, challenger Adesanya. Obviously, there's 2 different types of Adesanya. You got championship Adesanya and you got challenger Adesanya. It's weird to say that, but they are actually 2 completely different fighters. And Adesanya on the hunt when he's not a champion, fights like how he should. He's usually always on the forefront. Always advancing. Never scared of any exchange. Now it seems like he's getting to second guessing himself, and the stuff that he just doesn't seem as confident. And a fighter that runs off confidence, and that's the last thing you want to lose. A fight against Joe Pfeiffer is definitely favorable for Adesanya in terms of all the dudes that he can fight right now. I'm going to have to go with Adesanya. I'm going to have to stick with my guns and go with Adesanya, even though, my gut's telling me not to. I do think that he can pull it around. And his level, it should be much higher than Joe Pfeiffer. And we'll see it. If he loses this fight,
I do think there's either it's a rude awakening for him, or there's definitely a retirement soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, Joe, we have a lot of young boxers, young kids listening that get into boxing. What's your thoughts on how they should train, what they should do, and what they should look for so they don't get screwed?
It depends on where everybody has goals, right? So, I mean, I would figure out what your goals are and what your purpose is. And then you kind of can eliminate certain places to go to. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, most of these places that are even local spots, and I mean, I could say, because I feel like boxing was different when I was actually in it. Like, I find it is kind of harder to find trainers nowadays because those places that, they don't have guys that have experience that are actually training them. So it's hard to really say, like, you can go to any type of gym and get a good workout. And if that's all you want, you're satisfied with that, and you feel like you're getting your money's worth. People are okay with that. So it all depends on really what your goals are with it. And, that's my biggest thing is, like, there's not that many places that have people that have experience that are actually training boxing. And, like, I can't justify it. But that's, and I might be biased because I grew up in that environment where I see with the business and I see with an actual gym, and I see that there's history and there's knowledge behind some of these gyms compared to people just collecting money. And I understand both sides of it. I'm not knocking the business side of it. You know what I mean? I can see both sides. So it's kind of hard for me to, tell people what I see and what they want and what they're looking for. But, the biggest thing is you want to have somebody that knows what they're talking about, that actually has been in a ring and can relate to situations and, be able to give just experience off of that.
Okay.
I have a question for you, sir. Do you think that web of experienced trainers is less now? And if it is, why? And also, if it is, what can be done to rebuild that sort of web of experienced trainers so it's easier for people to get into the sport? That's a good question because, you got to think, like, obviously with AI and technology being crazier and better and stronger every day and making everything that you can almost look up how to be a good trainer and say all the same things that I could say, but just don't have the experience to it. So in a sense, I mean, I don't see, like I said, I don't have the time to truly be out and about and interact. I can only go off of the atmosphere an environment that I was around and raised in. Like, I always had a trainer. My dad was my trainer. We always found a gym, so I never had to worry about finding a trainer or finding a gym and trusting somebody. I mean, I had that, and I was spoiled, and I took it for granted. And, it's hard it's hard because the businesses are going to keep coming up, so people can put they can say anything but have boxing in there, and that's going to catch people's eyes. And, I don't know. I don't know how to really it's hard to say how to bring it back because, I mean, there's not, locally, there's not that much actual boxing going on in Delaware itself. So, I mean, you're really only going off the history of it. And, it's a dying sport around here, and it's the people that were in it are all getting old, and there's not really new blood coming up to really take that, to continue the tradition of it.
Hey, Tony, let me ask, are you done, Caden? Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tony, let me ask you about Carlos Ademas. Took it to Austin Williams last night. Didn't take him very long when he took him down. What's your thoughts?
Not what I expected. I think we talked about that a week or two ago, and I figured that would happen. I didn't know if it'd be that quick, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. But what round was he taking down in?
Third.
Yeah, it's a little sooner than I would have thought, but I expected he would definitely take it.
Yeah, he took the WBC middleweight championship belt with that fight, and he dominated the whole time. It was a good fight, good clean fight, but the card showed it. It wasn't even close. Joe, what do you think of fighters like that? I mean, you've been in the ring and and you know how hard it is to get to move up. What's your thoughts?
Man, I tell you, from a fighter's aspect and a perspective, I mean, simply for me, I can relate to me the best way I can give you to answer that question is like I grew up with a family, so I was always compared to this with my dad, my uncle, or whatever, and always having access, having everything in I was able to have access to everything when it came to boxing, whether I had my uncles, my dad, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
I took it for granted. I would fight and then I'd go out and party and have to start over, and like I wasn't active enough to stay busy, and I was young where I would always have to start from the bottom. And you really, it's a lifestyle you got to be willing to almost die for, because you can die in the ring, and people have died in the ring. I know I've said it before, but that's something I really try to tell some of these young guys, like, that say they want to do it, but they don't live the lifestyle. And it's a lifestyle you have to be willing to give up a lot of things for. And if you're not committed to it, there's really not a future. I mean, you really have to live it, and it's not meant for everybody. You got to be built for it. I feel like these generations aren't, and get good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, I feel like they're getting a little softer. It's a different world nowadays. I mean, people, I don't have too much to say on this, but I'm sure back in your day, if you guys had an issue, you wanted to fight, you guys would stand, you would fight, you would handle it, it would be done. Well, people don't want to lose a fight anymore. They'd rather do life in jail and shoot you. So, and not to get off topic, but I don't know. I mean, the biggest thing is having the lifestyle that comes with it.
Yeah, you talk about Delaware boxing. It was one of the best towns to fight with, especially with Father Robert opening up St. Anthony's. In fact, I watched your uncle Mario, your dad, and your uncle Dave. All had good fights in there. And it is a dying breed now. We look back at some of the guys that are coming up out of Philly right now, like Ennis. He's a good fighter, but he hasn't fought in a while because of legal problems, one way or the other. And now he's got a promoter that's not letting him fight because Tony brought it up. I think it's correct. Is the money's not there for the promoter? What do you think?
I've been around. I've been to his gym once. I've been to his gym a couple of times. I met him, and obviously, he's the next thing. He's the next thing coming up. I mean, he's great. I don't know too much about honestly what he has going on behind the scenes of everything. I thought people weren't trying to fight him, to be honest with you. And I see comments of people saying he hasn't fought anybody, but you can only fight the people that are willing to fight you. And I've seen a lot of comparisons with him and Bud Crawford and all that. But as far as the legal situation goes, I mean, I'm sure that can always get ugly. You know what I mean? With the promoter wanting money, I mean, he's a big draw. I'm sure once Hearns got involved with him and started putting shows on in Philly, I mean, he was selling out. Some shows were big, so I don't know. I mean, he's somebody I do love to watch. I mean, honestly, I don't watch too much of it anymore. I don't like staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning. My whole next day, I'm shot. So
yeah.
I can't even hang up watching these fights anymore. They get later and later, and sleep matters more. So
sure.
I try to stay up for the good fights and the fights that are really, the bigger name. But outside of that, I don't give it my time. But I don't know. I'd like to see Ennis, get a bigger name under his belt. I enjoy watching him, and he's somebody I do stay up to watch. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Caden, for our last one for you, Bilal Mohammed and Chimaev.
That's one that's been talked about for a little bit, but it would require Bilal Muhammad to move up to middleweight. Before, when Hamza still at welter, I would say this is a fight that 100% has to happen. I do believe that Bilal will always be up there, and at least as a contender. And obviously, Hamza, I know my take on him. I think he'll always be you know, in terms of he can always be in that championship conversation, no matter what. Career. That fight now that he moves up to middleweight, he's the middleweight champ. I think that the chances of that went from 95% to close to 0 because allows a guy who makes welterweight comfortable. You know what I mean? If he were to move up to welterweight, he'd be start fighting dudes that are 3 inches taller than him. You know what I mean? 4 to 5 inches taller than him. Well, right now, I think welterweight is just the perfect situation for him. He's getting older and he's still not having trouble cutting weight. He's still not bothering his performance cutting weight or anything like that. I don't think there's a big reason for him to move up to middleweight. I just think it'll be worse for his I don't think that one will happen. But Muhammad, his fight, he could definitely have a fight in the future against Islam Makhachev. So that's that welterweight title.
Okay. Guys, we're right at the end of our hour here. Joey, thanks for taking your time out away from your family to be on with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Please give my best to your dad. He was one of my favorites.
I will.
And again, thank you for everything. And tell your wife thanks for giving us and your kids the time.
No problem.
Tony, you want to lead us out?
Yes, sir. Joey, thank you for coming on. I wish I had a little bit more time to ask you some questions, but I got caught up today, and I got to find a good psychologist in the elevator tomorrow. So I got auto slam jam, so it's going to hurt for a while, but I look forward to talking to everybody again next week and getting caught up on everything. I'm going to try to go watch this Garcia fight that I missed, and I wish you all the best. And Caden, I hope your grandma is doing well again with the movement and everything. And if you guys ever need anything, call.
Caden?
Of course. Another great show. Thank you, Tony, for your kind words. You and Joe came so prepared tonight. I didn't have to say that. But again, Joe, thank you for your time. It was great to meet you, brother. Pop, you're the best host I know. I say it every week. But I will 100% be on next week, and I can't wait to see y'all then. You guys have a good rest of your week, good rest of your night. God bless.
Hey, Caden, well, before we go off, give everybody, since we talked about it last week, give everybody an update on your Grammy.
She's out of the hospital. They're waiting for her vitals to return to normal. So now she's in a rehab facility. But man, it's all going well so far. Thank God, man. It's all you can play for. Really.
Okay.
So, thank you, guys.
All right. Well, guys, again, thank you very much for being so well prepared and ready to go. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, these programs are brought to you each and every night of the week in grateful appreciation to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, the men and women police and fire services, the doctors and nurses and first responders. We also dedicate these programs to those who lost their lives in the line of duty. Deputy Robert Anthony Carroll, Patrolman David Curtis, Patrolman Jeffrey Colcap, Patrolman Jeffrey Yazwitz, Sergeant Thomas Batinger, San Diego Officer Mike Henler, Sergeant Tom Wilson, Charlotte County Sheriff's Department, Detective Randy Bell, Detective Ricky Childers, Patrolman and Officer Crispin, Lakeland PD, Patrolman Charlie Condit, Tarpon Springs Police Department, Deputy Chief Mike Godwin, Philadelphia Fire Department, Lieutenant Joyce Craig Lewis, Philadelphia Fire Department, Sergeant James O'Connor, Philadelphia Fire Department, Police Department, Sergeant Chris Levake, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Mike Zerba, Newcastle County Police, Patrolman Deputy Josh Meyer, Nassau County Sheriff's Department, Captain Matt Letourneau, Philadelphia Police Department, Captain Chris Leach, Wilmington Fire Department, Lieutenant Ardith Hope, Wilmington Fire Department, Lieutenant Jerry Ficus, Wilmington Fire Department, Chief Jimmy Ford, Wilmington Fire Department, Chief Al Hogle, Longboat Key Police Department, Deputy Mike Hargrove, Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, Trooper Chelsea Richards, Florida Highway Patrol, Trooper Joe Bullock, Florida Highway Patrol, Trooper Zachary Ben, Florida Highway Patrol, Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald, Philadelphia Police Department, Sergeant Ramon Mendez, Philadelphia Police Department, Chief Corey Compantier, Buffalo Creek Fire Department, Deputy Ronnie Ronazitsky, Manatee County Sheriff's Department. Patrolman Zachary Butterfield, Bradenton PD. And Corporal Timothy O'Connor, Pennsylvania Police, State Police. My brothers and sisters, although you may be 10-7 at this point in time, sometime we'll be 10-10 at the table of the Lord. Until that time, may the roads rise out to meet you. May the winds be always at your back. May the rains fall saltly on your fields and the sun shine lightly on your face. Until we meet again, may the good Lord keep you and your family always in the palm of his hands. Good night. God bless and have a great week.